Good evening. Good evening. Or is it afternoon? I think because the days are so long, the afternoons and evenings all feel about the same. Oh, something going on there. Lots of clicking from my window. Good afternoon. Hello, and welcome to my discussion. So, I'm talking about when you should weigh yourself, and I think this is something that a lot of people think they know the answer to, and it's like, yep, going to weigh once a week. That's fine. Always going to weigh exactly the same day, at exactly the same time, every single week, and that's the results I'm going to get, and yep, that's going to be absolutely accurate. So I am today going to flip everything on its head a little bit, and I'm going to give you some advice from a different angle on when you should weigh, and the pros and cons of weighing once a week, which I think now is going to be a thing of the past, really. So first of all, obviously we're in lockdown. You guys normally come and weigh on my scales, and you haven't been able to do that. And probably might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. You know, it might be that you were very reliant on my scales and all of a sudden you weren't able to, and might be feeling a little bit stressed from that. Or you might have your own scales at home and they might not be terribly reliable, or you might be, well, now that I guess you probably can go to Boots or something and jump on their scales, or if you have a doctor's or a hospital appointment, you might also jump on the scales there. So I know there's lots of chances to weigh yourself, and I think it is a good idea to have an idea of what you weigh, but I think you have to look at it in perspective, that the data that you get from the scales is just data. That's all it is. It's not a picture of how good you are at losing weight, of fitness, of health. It's just one data source of many. So when should you weigh? I think that there's a stigma out there that if you weigh frequently, it can change your mood. I have seen this, and I've had thousands of people get on my scales over the years, and I have seen people where it just changes their mood instantly because they haven't seen the results that they wanted that week on the scales. And I've had to ban people from getting on my scales because it just changed their mood so dramatically that it just wasn't worth it, really. And every time people got on the scales and it wasn't the results, like, oh, put on a pound, why's that? There are so many reasons why that could be, and you know, it probably wasn't the fact that you had fish and chips on Friday night. It probably wasn't. You know, having fish and chips one night is not going to tip you over the edge at all. So you know, I don't buy that, you know. But if you're having fish and chips and a packet of biscuits for breakfast and snacking here and drinking, you know, a bottle of wine every night, then that probably is going to tip you over the edge. And I think you guys know that is going to happen. So there's no point in pretending yourself that weight increase is not going to happen. Okay, so there's a stigma that if you get on the scales more often, it might put you in a bad mood. If you don't see what you want, going to affect your day, and you know, you're just thinking, oh God, is it really worth it? You know, I'm getting on the scales, I'm weighing more than I did last week. I'm going to throw in the towel, or worse still, I'm going to do more. I'm going to do more exercise. I'm going to do more calorie control. I'm going to do more. When in fact, what you're probably doing is fine, and you are getting the results, but you're not looking at the right data. And I think looking at the right data is absolutely key. Look at how you progress, how you've progressed from year to year, month to month. Don't look at it from week to week, because in a minute I'm going to explain all the different things that can affect it. So if you have access to scales, and if you're willing to do this, and I know people who do, but weigh every day. Weigh every day, every morning, weigh every day. Just to jump on and see. I think as soon as you do it, like, you know, like cleaning your teeth, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's my weight today. Next day, oh, yeah, that's my weight today. And then you'll see, you know, pick those 7 days. If you jump on the scales for 7 days in a row, it's probably going to be about the same. And it might be, you know, perhaps on Tuesday you fluctuate £4 up. You're like, oh, but then on Wednesday you'll be back down again. You know, so you've got to, I think, weighing more regularly. If weight loss is your thing, then absolutely weigh every day. So, you know, make it part of your routine every day. So, you know, but if you haven't got scales and if you don't want to do that, then don't. You know, if it does affect your mood. For me personally, I don't get on the scales hardly ever. Maybe 4 or 5 times a year, because I know the other indications of when I'm putting on a few pounds. I know those, and I don't need the scales to tell me, and I don't particularly like getting on the scales anyway. So the information that you see on the scales is just data. It is not a definition of how good you are or how well you're doing with your diet, with your fitness, with your health. It's just data, and that's all you need to treat it as. And I think when we go back to classes, I'm not doing stones and pounds anymore. Everybody's going to be in kilos, because I think it's a different kind of data that we're going to have to progress. We have to progress because, you know, this is 2020 here. We're not 1985 anymore, and I think we can treat that new data differently. So people can think, okay, I'm 60 kilos, and it's a lot more. It's not as, it's still the same figure, and you're not going to be, the weight's not going to change, but I think it's a different way to look at weight. So anyway, but if weighing every day just does drive you a bit crazy, then don't do that either. So as I said, there's many other ways to see progress. Measure yourself, and you know that I'm a big fan of that, to measure your, especially through your, measure your waist, your hips, leg, arm circumference. So measure is absolutely brilliant. Take pictures of yourself as well. I'm sure a lot of us have pictures of the then and now, how we once looked, and then you've lost a little bit of weight, and how you look now. Or maybe you haven't lost a little bit of weight, and maybe you have exercised more, you've done more toning, more conditioning, more strength training, or change your body composition and change the way you look. Scales might not say anything different. Performance as well. So again, it's not just about what the scales say, but have you got more energy now? Are you able to lift heavier things? Have you got greater mobility? Have you got better core strength? Has your back pain gone? All these things are indications of good health. And then there's also things, you know, like your body composition scales as well, that gives you a lot more information. I look at fat percentage and I look at water. Those are the two really big important ones. BMI and weight don't mean much. As I said, they're just data as a part of a big data source. So we can look at other things. So if you don't want to weigh, you can look at those other things as well, and you will see your progression. So if you only weigh once a week, so let's go back to classes, how they used to be, real fitness, back in the days, you know, many moons ago when we used to go to classes. People used to come and they used to weigh. And I used to say, quite openly, weigh every single week, the same time, every single, you know, if you come to my Tuesday morning class, only weigh with me on a Tuesday, don't weigh any other time. You know, that, yes, you have a picture of overall, but it might not give a true and accurate recording of your progression. Let me tell you how this works. We have daily fluctuations, and daily fluctuations in our body weight, and it's not fat, it's other things that can affect that. So we can fluctuate as human beings anything up to 6 pounds, possibly more depending on your body composition right now. So your body can fluctuate from 6 pounds from one day to the next for no particular reason. Sometimes there might not be a reason, it just is. And if you have that fluctuation overnight on Monday, and then you weigh on Tuesday and you're like, my God, I just put 6 pounds on this week. How on earth did I do that? Oh, I'm going to give up. Or, oh, I'm going to cut my calories even more and exercise more. 2 wrong answers, absolutely. Let me tell you why bodies fluctuate. And I've got a list here, but the one thing I didn't put on it, which I think is absolutely key for a day like today, is that when it's hot, your body really clings onto fluid. So I don't know whether you're like me, but my legs and my ankles have really swollen up, and that's fluid, and that will show on the scales. So that's one thing. So hot weather, absolutely. How do we get rid of that? Yeah, drink some more. Don't drink less. Drink more, pee more. everything will come out. So yeah, hot weather, absolutely hot weather. And you know, if you have been lucky enough to go abroad, maybe you do find that you feel a little, what does my brother-in-law who lives overseas, I can't remember what he calls it now, but it's something like tropical body or something like that, where your body just goes in the hot weather for no reason, other than the heat. So why else? So heat, we know, so that's why your body can show an increase. Heat, if you've had a hard workout. So if you've just done a hard workout on Monday evening and then you come and weigh on Tuesday morning, that could show on the scales, because your muscles are fighting to repair. To repair, they need glycogen, and glycogen holds a lot of fluid. So that could show on the scales. Another, I think, obvious one, if you're a little bit constipated, say no more about that. If you've had a meal with more salt, absolutely, that can show on the scales. If you've eaten a lot more carbs, so it might not be that you have had more calories, but you've had more carbs maybe the few days before. And again, that holds more fluid. Inflammation as well. Our bodies have inflammation for lots and lots of different reasons. If you know, repairing, or if you have a chronic illness, lots of ways. If you've had lots of sugar, your body forms inflammation. It's not fat, but it will show on the scales. And you know, things as simple as that if you've eaten dinner at a different time the night before, it still might be hanging around in your body. If you've eaten it earlier, maybe if you know, normally weigh on a Tuesday evening and you've eaten a little bit earlier or eaten a little bit heavier that day. So there are so many reasons why we can gain weight, not fat, and it can show on the scales. And if you're weighing every week at the same time, every single week, then this can put a lot of people off, and it can make people think, oh, you know, there's something not right. But you know, obviously if you're gaining 6 pounds every single week in, week out, then that's another issue. I'm just talking about those fluctuations where you gain and you don't know why, and then the next week it might go down a little bit. So obviously if you're constantly putting on weight, then that's obviously something a little bit different. And if there's no reason, then that is a trip that you would probably need to take to see your GP. So maybe the day that you weigh isn't sort of ideal, but if you're weighing every day, then you could see if there is a spike one day, and then more than likely it'll go down the next day. So weighing more frequently, if that's your thing, is absolutely key. So you get that data source, and you get a snapshot. I think that's what it is. It's a snapshot of your health. So it's not the end all and be all, absolutely. So we also need to look at your body composition as well. And this is not a myth, and I talk about this all the time with people and in my classes, and now with you guys. I'm sure you've heard this before. But when people start to exercise, especially if they haven't exercised or they've had a little break from exercise for whatever reason, body composition is quite rapid, and it does change your body quite quickly. And somebody might look a lot leaner and their clothes are a lot looser, but the scales say the same, or worse still, the scales say more. It's not because you are you've got more fat, you've got more muscle, you've got less fat, and you look better, you feel better, you've got more energy, you're sleeping better, everything else is better, but the scales say differently. And again, that might put people off and think, you know, throw the towel, can't be dealing with this, can't be dealing with it. So it is the muscle versus fat. That's what you have to look at, and that is why, you know, body composition scales, measuring yourself and looking at other ways of progress is absolutely key. So say, let's go back to the weighing on a Tuesday morning. You weigh on a Tuesday morning, and this Tuesday you put on your 6 pounds. You put on 6 pounds from last Tuesday. This is what people do. There's two choices. They're like, oh my God, I have got to do better. I'm doing terrible. I'm going to cut my calories again. So rather than eating my 1,500 calories, I'm going to cut it right down to 1,000. Right down, cutting it right down. What's going to happen when you cut your calories right down? What happens to your body? yeah, you're going to lose weight. Yeah, you're going to lose fat. What else are you going to lose? If you're cutting your calories that much, you're going to start losing muscle as well. And when you lose fat and muscle really quickly and really rapidly, because you've dropped your calories so low, you can't maintain it. There's no way that you can maintain 1,000 calories. Not us, we're active. You know, you're going to be like, you know, crawling after a few days, and so ravenously hungry, and it's going to affect your brain, your mental cognition, it's going to affect your sleep, you know, you're just going to have no energy, so you can't maintain this 1,000 calories. So what happens as soon as you go back to your normal eating? Yes, you're going to put on that weight, but because you lost muscle and fat before, soon as you start eating normally, and probably eating more again because you've been so ravenously hungry for X amount of days and weeks, you're going to put fat on, and more than likely you're not going to put muscle on, so you're going to put fat on, and then it becomes even more difficult because now you've got a higher percentage of fat, less muscle, muscle's metabolically active, and then it's just this whole process. So cutting your calories right down, giving that body a humongous shock that it doesn't want, it's just not the way to go. So being absolutely consistent is key, and not dropping your calories too low. So that's your two options. When somebody comes to weigh and they see that 6 pounds weight increase, which is not fat, in 7 days, yeah, cut down, or throw in the towel. And you guys, I mean, you support me and you know that your health is important, but I have seen hundreds and thousands of people come through my doors who just have no interest. They don't get the instant results they want, and that's it, they throw in the towel, and then they go off to the next club or the next group and last for about 5 minutes there as well. So consistency is absolutely key here. I think sort of 1 to 2 pounds, if you are actively losing weight, 1 to 2 pounds a week is ideal, absolutely ideal. 4 pounds a month, but consistently. I mean, anything more, and you're going to be starving your body of nutrition, nutritious food. You're going to start losing muscle weight, which, as we said, is not ideal at all. So you know, if it's only £2 a month, it's absolutely fine, but it's got to be consistent. You've got to be able to maintain this. So if you cut your calories too low, you can't maintain this for a long time. Okay, so yeah, 1 to 2 pounds a week is really good. Consistent weight loss, don't make it extreme, and you know, we're looking sort of 1 to 3% body fat reduction over a month is absolutely ideal. But you know, if you want to weigh, be aware that it is a snapshot. If you want to weigh, you know, once a week, then great, but just be really, really aware that there's going to be something that might skew your data that you're seeing. So use other sources as well. If you want to weigh once a month, that's fine. But you know, ideally, if you've got the scales right there and they're in your bathroom, and so are you every morning, every day is absolutely fine. And yeah, as I said, I know people that do weigh every day, and they can keep a good eye on their weight. But if it's going to, you know, make you a bit crazy, then don't. Okay, so I really, really hope that's helpful, and sort of setting out, I think, a few changes for when we do finally get back to face-to-face classes. And I'm not going to focus on the scales too much. I think there's absolutely so many other ways that we can see how we are progressing. But while you're at home, you can use that data source if you want to. Okay, my lovelies, I need to go and get myself ready for some club. I've got my shirt on already. Get myself ready for clubbercise, get some face paints on, and get my, I've got cake. It's cake. It's about this big, and it says it's for about that big, 10 people. I think I'm going to cut it into 4 and give it to all my family. I don't want too much of that. Can't chocolate. Anyway, that's me and the cake. Yeah, so I need to get ready for clubbercise. So I'll see you at 6:30. I hope you can join me for it. We got some great music. And yeah, it'd be lush if I could see as many people as possible, even if you're only joining me from your, you know, patio outside waving your glow sticks every now and then. That'd be lush. Hey, have a good afternoon and evening. See you later.